welcome back to this series, the third part of 4. You should have watched the first 2 parts, otherwise you'll have no clue what's happening. But, Revenge of the Sith is definitely the best prequel due to more action, less romance, less politics, but it's still heavily flawed due to the awful acting and dialogue. So let's dive into my far better Star Wars universe. Our film starts with a battle on Utapau, where Obi-Wan, Anakin, some clones and a few other Jedi, maybe throw in a Twi'lek, a Thalothian and a Wookiee, are taking on many droids as they attack a separatist base, as this battle will show the Republic are clearly winning this war, although the droids were slower than normal as pointed out by the Thalothian. Once the battle is over, Owen, Padme, guards and some clone reinforcements can arrive, which is when we shift to that night where Obi-Wan, Anakin, Owen and Padme can discuss their dreams and aspirations, which we know won't happen, around a campfire. Owen wants to live on Coruscant, Anakin wants to get a seat on the Jedi Council, Obi-Wan wants to become a better Jedi in general, and Padme wants to make the Senate better, where we learn now that Palpatine is now Chancellor after Bail Organa stepped down during the war. We then shift over to Mustafar, where Grievous is on a hologram chat with Palpatine, where he gets quite angry, smashing the hologram machine and crushing a battle droid. But before that, they discuss their plans to attack Coruscant, where Maul then asks Palpatine about Obi-Wan. We return to Coruscant, where Mace Windu denies Anakin a seat on the Jedi Council for a 4th time, 3 during the war. Anakin now questions why, since he is more skilled than other council members. Windu scolds him, Obi-Wan defends Anakin. Windu then implies that Anakin will never be a Jedi Master, and Anakin storms out with Obi-Wan chasing him, and when Padme tries telling Anakin she's pregnant, he ignores her. The Separatist fleet then arrives, where Grievous crashes his cruiser into the building, causing havoc, mowing down guards, taking hostages and brutally killing a Rhodian Jedi by punching him through the chest with the singed metal from the hand he just cut off. If you're wondering, I am mentally stable. Owen runs to help Padme, while Padme is helping Palpatine, who gets captured. As we get a space battle, where Anakin's still annoyed from the scene we've just had. He's cold towards Obi-Wan, and just wants to save Palpatine, so it looks like he is a better fit for the Council after all. While running through the Separatist cruiser, we get a scene of Grievous killing Shark T, who this time getting easily killed by him, showing Grievous's might, not just that deleted scene where he stabs her through the throat. Afterwards, Anakin and Obi-Wan get to Palpatine, where they fight Maul in a furious battle full of anger between all 3 of them, and Maul looks to be on top until they slice Maul's hands off, and that's when Palpatine says to kill him. After Obi-Wan says he must stand trial, being the moral one, Anakin keeps being edged on by Palpatine, and that's when Palpatine reveals his marriage to Padme, a shock to Obi-Wan and the audience, as we didn't see it last film. So, in rage, Anakin force pushes Obi-Wan away and force chokes Maul to death, fueling his anger even more. We return to the Jedi Council, where Mace Windu expels Anakin from the Order for killing their only lead to the Sith Lord, and as he leaves the Jedi Temple with the burning Senate building in the distance, Palpatine praises him, treating him like a son, giving him the title of Overseer of Defense, putting him in charge of the Jedi. We then cut back to Mustafar, where we see Padme, Owen and many other senators being held captive by Grievous. Then we see Anakin holding a tactics meeting with the Jedi and other generals, where he puts Mace Windu and the other Jedi on the front line. Then they get to Mustafar, where there is a huge battle between all the Separatist forces, clones and hundreds of Jedi. Palpatine, Anakin and Yoda are on the command ship. Meanwhile, Owen, Padme and the senators escape from the base. Anakin then joins the battle as he feels sorrow for the deaths of the Jedi that are suffering, which he has indirectly caused, including Mace Windu going down in a blaze of glory. Mace's death can also carry more weight when it cuts to Yoda feeling sorrow for this, then retreats to the base, gets on a call with Palpatine saying they're being overrun, as Palpatine tells him to die, as Grievous self-destructs the base, killing himself and all the Separatist leaders, and causing many other casualties from the base's debris. This is where Anakin is fueled with rage as he thinks Padme is still on the base, and when he sees Grievous's mangled body, he shreds it to pieces in rage. The few surviving Jedi escape the planet and head back to Coruscant along with Owen, Padme and the Senators. We then get a scene on Coruscant where Bail Organa, Padme, Mon Mothma and a few other Senators are discussing the creation of a rebellion. Anakin will then go into Palpatine's office, where he ultimately turns to the dark side due to the power it gave him, being given his new red lightsaber. Anakin then launches his attack on the Jedi Temple, where we see some Jedi Temple guards taking down clone troopers just for Anakin to arrive and easily slaughter them. Anakin continues to murder Jedi with clones and throwing his blue lightsaber into the burning building as Order 66 is initiated, and we get to see some more deaths, not just Ki-Adi-Mundi's, Plo Koon's, Aayla Secura's and Stas Ali's. We also get Barriss Offee's, Quinlan Voss's and Luminara Unduli, which are all deleted scenes. Afterwards, Obi-Wan and Yoda, who are at the Senate building, get to the Jedi Temple where Obi-Wan discovers Anakin's lightsaber, almost crying. Then he finally sees the video of Anakin's betrayal, causing him to have a breakdown on the floor, head in his hands, sobbing, feeling all this guilt rushing back to him and constantly blaming himself, not just for this but also for failing Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan then goes into Padme's house, where there is a muted colour palette and it's a stormy, foggy, rainy night with the burning Jedi Temple in the distance. And he doesn't tell her about Anakin's betrayal, instead saying something horrible has happened and showing the hologram recording of Anakin murdering younglings. Padme then heads to Mustafar where Anakin has returned as Obi-Wan follows her, and they engage in their duel full of Anakin landing heavy strikes on Obi-Wan like Luke against Vader in Return of the Jedi. Obi-Wan is clearly overpowered by Anakin, which can be shown with Obi-Wan struggling to balance on a pipe while Anakin walks along it with ease. Meanwhile, we get to see an epic Force battle between Palpatine and Yoda, the two most powerful Force users ever. During their battle, we see the most powerful powers of all time that only the best of the best can perform, as neither need a lightsaber. Then, Palpatine can get his face scars and Yoda falls from the Senate pod, injuring himself, explaining why he needs a cane and must flee with Bail Organa. After Anakin is left burning on Mustafar, we cut to Yoda on Alderaan, where he is clearly still in pain from his wound, but is getting solitude by talking to Qui-Gon through the Force. Then Obi-Wan and Owen arrive with Padme. She gives birth to Luke and Leia, dying in the process, while we cut to Vader becoming Vader, his first breath coinciding with Padme's final breath. When Vader hears Padme is dead, he feels no remorse, instead just crushing the medical droids around him. When Padme dies, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Bail and Owen are discussing what they should do with the children. Obi-Wan wants to take Luke, but Owen has a go at him, saying he's not fit to raise a child, comparing Luke to Anakin, and insisting he'll take him, starting that dislike Owen has for Obi-Wan in the original trilogy. Meanwhile, Bail takes Leia as he agrees to live a life of solace on Alderaan away from Coruscant. Finally, the film will end with Owen on his moisture farm, a place he wished he never returned to, holding Luke and looking out into the sunset, as everything our heroes knew has fallen, and there is no hope left in the galaxy.